The lithium curse. Why the world is rushing to Central Africa again. This is not just another story about minerals buried underground. This is about a new global obsession, a silent race, and a resource that could decide the future of energy, technology, and even geopolitical power. Lithium is often called the white gold of the modern era. You don't see it like oil. You don't wear it like gold. But without it, the entire digital and electric world begins to collapse. Every smartphone battery, every electric car, every energy storage system that powers the so-called green revolution depends on one thing: lithium. And now, something is happening that has changed global attention once again. The world is rushing towards Central Africa. A new scramble has begun, but it looks different this time. History has seen this pattern before. When gold was discovered, empires moved. When diamonds were found, conflicts followed. When oil became essential, entire regions were reshaped by global powers. Now, in the 21st century, the resources changed, but the behavior has not. Central Africa, especially regions like the Democratic Republic of Congo and surrounding mineral-rich zones, is sitting on massive untapped reserves of critical minerals. Not just lithium, but also cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements that power the backbone of modern technology. And so quietly, but aggressively, the world is returning. Not with armies, but with corporations, contracts, mining deals, and geopolitical influence. Why lithium has become so important so fast. To understand why this rush is happening, you have to understand the shift in global energy. The world is moving away from fossil fuels. Gasoline engines are being replaced with electric vehicles. Traditional power systems are shifting toward battery storage and renewable grids. And at the center of all of this transformation is lithium. It is lightweight, highly energy-dense, and essential for rechargeable batteries. Without lithium, electric cars stop working. Renewable energy storage becomes unstable. Modern electronics lose efficiency. Entire supply chains slow down. This is not just a resource anymore. It is infrastructure for the future economy. Whoever controls it does not just supply materials. They influence the speed and direction of global progress. Central Africa, the hidden epicenter of the new resource war. Central Africa is often described as one of the richest regions on Earth in terms of natural resources. But it is also one of the most complex. In many mining regions, governance is weak or unstable. Armed groups operate in remote areas. Infrastructure is underdeveloped. Foreign companies dominate extraction. Now, lithium is adding a new layer of pressure to an already fragile system. Because this time, the demand is not limited to luxury or industrial use. It is global survival-level demand. Every major economy, United States, China, Europe, needs these minerals to power its future industries. And that creates a situation where competition becomes unavoidable. The curse pattern. Why resources often bring struggle. There is a historical pattern that keeps repeating in different forms. When a region becomes rich in valuable natural resources, it does not always become wealthy or stable. Instead, it often becomes a zone of external interference, internal conflict, economic dependency, unequal wealth distribution. This is why the term resource curse exists. And now, analysts are asking a difficult question. Is lithium repeating the same cycle? Because while global companies sign billion-dollar agreements, local communities often see very different realities. Environmental damage, poor labor conditions, limited long-term development, wealth leaving the region faster than it enters. So the question is no longer just about mining. It is about control, fairness, and long-term impact. A new type of colonial pressure, without formal colonies. Unlike the past, there are no visible empires taking land. But influence still exists, just in a more modern form. Instead of occupation, there is dependency. Instead of flags, there are supply chains. Instead of direct control, there are contracts and investments that shape entire economies. The most powerful part of this system is not just extraction. It is control over processing. Because raw minerals alone don't create wealth. The real power comes from refining, manufacturing, and technology production. And that part is mostly controlled outside of Africa. The global dependency problem. Lithium is not just a local resource anymore. It is part of a global network where mining happens in one region, Processing happens in another. Manufacturing happens somewhere else. And profits are distributed unevenly. This creates dependency loops. Countries need Africa's minerals. Africa needs investment and infrastructure. Companies need stable supply chains. And everyone is competing at the same time. This is why the situation is so sensitive. Because any disruption in one region can affect the entire global tech industry. The future that is being built right now. This is not a short-term boom. Lithium demand is expected to grow for decades. Electric vehicles are not a trend. They are a structural shift. Energy storage systems are becoming essential for national grids. And artificial intelligence, robotics, and advanced electronics all depend on stable battery technology. So what is happening in Central Africa today is not just mining. It is the foundation of the next global economy. And foundations always decide who has power later. Final reality check. The world often describes this moment as green progress and technological advancement. And in many ways, it is. But beneath that narrative lies a deeper reality. Every future technology still begins with extraction. And extraction always raises the same question. Who benefits the most from the resources of the earth? Central Africa is now at the center of that question again. And history is quietly watching to see whether this time will be different. Or whether the curse of resources will repeat itself once more.